Alright then. That's the stream gone up. I'm going to double check the standings now, figure out what is actually necessary. So, going into this race, Hallinan, Roller, Nova can win. Yeah, because Zab's too far out of it to make a difference. So we have 3 people who can win. Nova is back 20 points on Hallinan, or 20.5 points, sorry. Roller is back 25. So Roller needs a fastest lap, a race win, and a DNF. Roller needs a miracle. Nova has to win and do some praying himself. I don't really see a way through here. So, being 20.5 points up, that means he's going to need to get a 21 point swing here, Nova. So, Nova has to win regardless. If Roller or Nova don't win, then the title is decided. However, if Nova or Roller wins, if Roller wins, then Hallinan has to DNF. Just straight up DNF. And then Nova, if I'm right, 1, 2, 4, that would be... Well, if Nova got the win and no fastest lap, then it would have to be, what? 8th without a fastest lap for Hallinan, I believe. It's 8th without a fastest lap. Would be 4 points. There wouldn't be enough for Hallinan. If there was a fastest lap for Nova, he'd get 26. Yeah, he can't get any higher than 8th. Hallinan has to end 8th at the absolute most. So that could be interesting. Let's see where people are coming. Let's have a look at the constructors while we're at this. So, 157.5, 146, 112. There is technically half the grid that can still win. Yeah, the top 16 can technically still win the constructors, but Jesus Christ, that's going to have some incredible stuff to happen for that to be the case. You can get 44 points provided both drivers are here. So both McLarens are here, so they can get 44. The Red Bull, there is only one, so they can get 26. It's still enough, but he needs the other one to actually show up. Hallinan and Johnny. Yeah, Johnny's here. So it's a 1v1. The 2 for McLaren. There's Hallinan. So it's 2v1 in the terms of constructors. There's only 60.5 points between them and McLaren, so that would be a 2v2. 2 there for Ferrari. Both there for Aston Martin. There's still a decent chunk of things that could happen here. Oh god, people talking about who they should and shouldn't take out. That should be fun. Wait and see. Should be going any minute. I would prefer the smoothest race of all time at this point. Why did my game almost die on me there? Don't know why it was reconnecting to services. Shouldn't have been. Showing's joined, so we have 16. Looks like tier 1's got full wet. I'm hoping that's not the same here. We've still got a couple of people joining, I think. Could be wrong. We'll go and take a look. Looks like we're meant to have 19. Hello. There's some of you here that aren't in my normal stream, so if you aren't in my normal tier 1 streams, you're going to have to remind me. Oh well, I'll rather let me know who you are, and that way I don't think people are certain people, and that's everything that goes with that. Had that before. When I was trying to learn the tier 1 guys. God, that was a while back. Should have a couple more joining. Not entirely sure who we're waiting on though. There's still a lot that can happen for both titles. I do a regular map update during the race, see where we are. Well, as we go along anyway. Just trying to see when we're actually going. Just having a banter with some of the tier 1 guys. They've seemingly like that tier 1 guys have got full wet the entire way through, which is incredibly funny. We're waiting on someone so they can join in quali. That's certainly something. Yeah, it's wets in qualifying. So that in tier 1, so that's that. Looks like we'll be going in a couple more minutes. Just sorting out that I'm going to what I'm doing with pro clubs immediately after this stream. But yeah, until that point, waiting on the tier 4 race. The title decided to get underway. While I do that, I'm going to continue to sort out the GT side of things in terms of everything that started there today. All the cars, all the teams being chosen. But it looks like we're about to go. We've got 17. I have the tier 4 on my screen. The last race, Silverstone. Whoever decided to have Silverstone as a finale might need speaking to, but there's that. It's all good, all good. There's a title fight, of course I'm going to do comms, come on. You should know me by now, especially if you've watched any of the tier 1 streams. I would suggest there's not that much of a crossover between the two. About 13 seconds, and then we go to Silverstone qualifying. And for those who don't know, we watched or haven't watched any of my streams before. We'll watch the first person out of the pit lane do their out lap and then their flying lap, provided they're the first one to the line. It looks dry. It looked very dry. I'm assuming I'm about to be told if it's a wet race or not, but it looked very, very dry. Especially for qualifying. It looks like the first person out is actually going to be from, that might be the Haas. It's also Alfa Romeo, I think. It's down there. We'll wait and see. Which I'm wrong entirely. It looked like, yep, it is. It's Chris out first. So the AlphaTauri is going to be the one that's out first, followed by the Aston Martin of Roller, championship rival for today. A small chance of rain, only 16%. Yep, that's fair enough. So we're not getting rain today then. So it's going to be dealt with by raw pace and raw pace alone. You see a few people getting out now. Hallinan and Nova joining Roller on the track. Hallinan in a Williams. We'll get to him shortly. Also got, so the ones we're looking out for today, championship drivers wise, is an Aston Martin for Roller, a Williams for Hallinan, and a McLaren for Nova. Matt done his usual stick of going to the back to see in sprint quite often. However, we're going to watch Chris's first lap here. He's going to be the first one to the line. Currently doing out lap. Just about to head into Star there and into the Vale chicane. Started actual proper lap. Here he goes in now. And comes out of the chicane into the final corner. And sets up into 6th, up into 7th. Should be 8th by the time you hit turn 1. He gets into 8th, gets it down to 7th. He doesn't really have to bring the gears down, but he does so anyway. Up to 8th again, up towards the hairpin. And he gets there all the way down to 3rd. And then through the pretty tough part, the end of the first sector, down to the straight here, Wellington Straight. On way down into the beginning of the second sector. 28-0, the first sector we see. You see one of the hardest get out of the way for Roller as he is coming on through now. We'll see where Roller's going to be able to put himself. Old foe, shall I say, Roller, who used to drive with me in Tier 2 a season or 2 back. It's unusual to see him in Tier 4, or see him that far back, but he is. He goes through Maggots and Beckett's now here, Chris, as he's not anywhere near tight enough to that corner. Well, second to last corner. It's a 104.6 coming out the second sector. Now he goes down the hanger straight, down into Stowe, and then down toward the Vale chicane. And quite frankly, it might be competitive, but I'm not entirely sure the time that would be competitive for this tier. I haven't seen a lot of this tier so far this season. It looked like a 28.9 is going to be the first sort of benchmark. Let's see what can beat. The Roller to the line, 28.6. It's a 28.6 and a Nova 28.4. Well then, so advantage Nova. Hallinan only, well, relatively just slower than Nova. 13 thousandths of a second split the two, but it is advantage Nova right now. However, we all know that Hallinan cannot end above 8th regardless of what else happens. If he does end higher than 8th, he will be champion today. Quite frankly, if he ends higher than 8th, it's probably going to lead to him being a Constructors champion as well, but we'll wait and see down the line. Wicked invalidated. Let's see what Marlin's doing. Keeps himself going. Also, will the game. Usually one that used like lights up sprint. Almost had a championship not that far back. Showing also ever so slightly quicker. Quarter of a tenth of a second quicker than Nova. He sees himself right now on the top step for I say top step. The front row, in the front of the front row for qualifying on provisional pole with Nova on the front row beside him, Hallinan and Roller, and that's 1, 2, 3 in the championship sitting in the top 4 right now. Nova needs a little bit of a help from Presmu to actually is Prezemu, sorry. I'm going to butcher that one all night long. I apologise in advance. In order to actually do something, we'll watch Almighty, who doesn't seem to be doing an awful lot here. I think he's going to be a little bit slower than everyone else. Maybe a 130, 131, yeah, a 130.7. Not particularly impressive. Marlin might be getting held up here by an Aston Martin. Wait and see. I don't know if he's actually doing a flying lap. He got bang average. Zab, Slimmy. Wicked all to do laps as well. Hallinan is about to go back into the pits. Yep. Also, so does Will the game. It looks like someone else just did a lap. So he puts himself 5th right now. That's 28.7. Zab 28.7 as well in 6th. Chris, first lap being put to shame so far. Needs about half a second just to realistically put himself toward the front. Dove also still out on the track and not really having an awful lot to show for it. Done 29.6, needs at least another second just to be called a respectable time here, I think. I think Marlin, yeah, Marlin is doing a flying lap. Wait and see whether or not he's going to be able to hold it, though. Right now, he needs to pick up the pace a little bit. I don't think he's anywhere near that 28s that everyone else is doing. We'll wait and see. He goes around the Vale chicane now through the final corner. He's running out of time. He's not getting a 28. He's not getting. He is going to get 29 and 29.4. Oh, it's not particularly competitive either. He needs exactly a tenth of a second just to be right beside Nova and showing at the front. We've got a few on out laps. We're going to have a look at bang average Seb, considering he is the next one to start a lap. Just started the first sector now. He's playing with fire a little bit there in the first corner. You can easily invalidate you get it too wrong. He's going to stay in fourth. Probably should drop a couple more, but did into second in the end. The hairpin you could probably get away with doing in second or third as well. Wicked Prophet also starting a lap now as well. You got Nova and Showen currently 1-2 also on out laps, and Roller just about to start round 2 between the three of them, that's for sure. We continue to watch Bang Average Seb as Doodoo Man has just joined. He'll get 1, maybe 2 goes at this. It looks like, oh, Bang Average Seb makes a mistake there. It's a bit ambitious through Maggots and Beckett's there, and invalidates his lap too far to the inside. It's definitely easy to get a penalty to the inside of Maggots and Beckett's, especially if you're too overzealous, which it looks like was the case there. We'll watch Roller after we see Wicked, who doesn't get very close to that apex at all, try and hold on and try and see. Well, I say hold on, try put up a tie and see where he can put himself. It's currently a 15 up into Stowe. He comes out of Stowe down toward the Vale chicane. He needs to put up a fight here. Ferrari still have a chance, but he's got to do something. 26, 27, 28, it's not a pole time, it's 29.3, and again, still need to find about a second. Roller invalidated. We're going to go and watch, yeah, actually, no, we're going to watch Showen. I think Showen's the next one. Yep, Showen is the next one, as Nova is going into Sector 2 now. Watch Nova afterwards. Showen right now, setting the fastest sector there, and Sector 1. Going through Sector 2, is he still up on his time? Looking to set something special here at Silverstone. He's almost a 27 here. He's going to go into Stowe, hoping... Oh, I was about to say, hoping for a 27 before he turned it round. Way too much on the back end. And now this hands a chance to Nova. Can he put himself on that front spot, give himself the best opportunity he can to take it to Hallinan today? Chris has also put himself a 28.461, 11 thousandths of a second off of Showen, and the times keep mounting up at the front here. Goes around the Vale chicane, down towards the final corner now, onto the line. He's going to go for a 28.1, and there's the new benchmark. There's the new benchmark. Can anyone beat it? Showen made a mistake. Hands his chance to Nova. Nova's going to take that with ease. He's gained about 0.3 of a second on where Showen actually is. Quite frankly, Showen's got to pull in a lap now. I think Nova won't be complaining if Showen was to put in a lap. The more distance he can create between him and Hallinan, the better. Saeed is going to come down towards Vale now, well, into Stowe and then the Vale chicane, and I'm surprised that's not invalidated for how poor that corner was. He's going to pit. What about Zab? Zab currently 0.2 of a second up, still valid. Going through the second part of Max and Package. Now he's actually hitting an apex, one of the very few we've seen today he's actually hit that apex. And he's currently 0.4 of a second up. Dove is out. Dove is out. Hairpin at sector 1 there. Got him. Just about. Kept the car intact here, Zab. He was 4/10 of a second up. He's probably lost a slight bit of time through Stowe, even though his first lap was abysmal. Not entirely sure which one it is. 27, 28, 28! 199 for Zab, and Nova's going to be loving that. And we're going to go to Hallinan now, who's going to do a flying lap. And here we go. So Nova, well, Sean fired the first shot. Nova has responded well. Roller hasn't yet got a beat on things here at Silverstone. Will Hallinan rebound at Nova's benchmark here? Can Hallinan put himself in the best position to actually hold on to this title? Because let's be honest, Hallinan doesn't need to do anything here. He needs an 8th or higher. Well, 7th or higher, and he's guaranteed to be champion. So, if he gets 6 points by any means, he will win the title. By virtue of that half point earlier on in the season. I think Hallinan's just had his lap ruined. We'll confirm that. Yeah, no, he's had his lap ruined. That is not good news for Hallinan. So yeah, the lap's just going slower and slower. We're actually going to have a look at Roller though. Roller right now not really doing anything. He's running out of time. Yellow flag in sector 3. That's Hallinan there. Alfa Romeo and a Haas also backing up before Dudu gets to them as well. And we've got an absolute mess going on here at Stowe, and I'm not entirely sure why it's going on. You don't need to be able to back up that much when your lap's dead, but there is we'll wait and see, but some people might be able to do a proper lap here. Then now Dudu's done a 29th lap. Again, some people need a lot of help to overtake in the Constructors' title as well. Realistically, the best shot lies with the Williams here, who's got a pretty standard way of doing things. Almighty also doing a lap right now. We'll actually go and watch Almighty, see if he can improve on that 20.7 that he currently has. He's going through the second sector now. So roughly around where we've seen other people come through this sector at. Would be nice to see how much he would be improving by, but we'll have to wait until the end of Maggots and Beckett's in order to do that. And actually have... Oh, that's invalidated. Almighty invalidated. Is that Marlin directly behind him? It is Marlin directly behind him, and he's currently 3/10 up. He's actually more than 3/10 up. He's now almost a three-quarters of a second up. That would put him quite nicely around Saeed, and he uses the toe off the Alfa Romeo, though probably didn't intend to give him one, to go. Someone's glitching all the way through the pit lane and dropped himself onto the Bale chicane for some reason. As we watch the other Haas, 28-6, enough to actually jump Saeed here. We're actually going to go back and watch Nova all over again. Unless Chris is on a lap. Chris is on a lap, but he's slower right now. So we're actually going to watch Nova. Here we go. As he has, realistically, one last shot at this. He's got one more time to put down a 27. If he can get a 27, Hallinan and Roller are going to find it hard done to actually get to that point. One of the Alfa Romeos just sitting out there, getting out of the way. Chris is out of the session, as he has realised that's probably out of time. So 28.4 is enough for Chris. Let's see where he is in terms of everything else at the end of qualifying. Here comes Nova as he's going through the second sector now. Zab also starting a lap. And right now, I think Nova will be relatively happy with the distance put between him and Hallinan. As well, a miracle, quite frankly, has to happen for Roller to win the championship here. As long as if Roller wins the race with fastest lap, then we're just looking towards Hallinan. Nova can't win. Nova is going a little bit quicker. It's not a lot quicker. It's not a 27 pace. He's going to go around Stowe now, and he's going to head towards... Oh, he's gone! He's gone! He's gone round! He had gone round. Hallinan has not come out of the pits. Wicked has about 35 seconds to get out as well and get over the line. So we see Johnny on an out lap. Then one of the Ferraris, Saeed, actually doing a lap right now. So I'm going to watch Saeed go through his lap. He'll be the first one over the line, I think, to actually call it quits. So Nova is out of qualifying and now is hoping for something. Well, quite frankly, nothing to happen here. Well, people to beat Hallinan's time, but not his. Hallinan also... Oh, Saeed gone round! Nobody is enjoying Stowe. What is going on? I'm going to watch Presumu go round into the pit, so he's out as well. So we see... Who else is coming to the line now? Alfa Romeo, Almighty. Already done. Slimmy about to set a lap now as he's going to come down into the Vale chicane. I'm trying to figure out as we go along who is and isn't close enough. Saeed's not going quicker, but that's the end of his qualifying. Same for the Alfa Romeo. And as here comes Slimmy, 27, 28, 28.5 is not enough for Hallinan. As we go and see both the Red Bulls coming over the line now. Will currently doing a decent amount. 28.8 is only enough for 10th. As we go through Nova Haas, Marlin has invalidated. Someone has just come into the pits. I'm not entirely sure who that is. I think it's Zab. It is Zab, so we're down to 2. Wicked's invalidated, which leaves us with just the 1. And here comes Bang Average Seb. Didn't see what his times are coming through the final corners, but he goes through Stowe. He keeps the car on track, which is more than half the grid has done so far. He goes down into the Vale chicane, looking to update his, to upgrade his position on the grid a little bit. Can he take it away from Nova? He cannot. It's a 28.547. He doesn't even beat Hallinan. And it's Nova on pole. And Zab's going to close out the front row with him. Sean and Chris take the second row and Hallinan in 5th, knowing that that's all he needs to do. If he ends there, he'll be quite happy. It's game over. Roller in 8th, who quite frankly needs a miracle. Even from there, he needed to be on the front row realistically to give him the best shot. Didn't get on the front row. And but there you go. That's the it's actually relatively close there. A lot of people very close in times. Roller and Marlin actually did identical times. I didn't even realize that in the end. They actually did identical times. Unfortunately for Marlin, Roller gets the position before him. But bearing in mind, all this hinges on is Hallinan ending 7th or higher. Well, that is 7th and higher and not getting any sort of incidents that might drop him. Because it might still be the case that we need stewards at the end of this. Hallinan, if Hallinan was to go out early, we then have a very, very interesting go at it. Because then it's not on Hallinan's hands anymore. 20.5 points. It would just be a case of could Nova win the race, and he's on pole. Hallinan DNF makes this very interesting. Hallinan dropping down the pack a little bit makes my mind explode, because I'm going to have to do so much maths for both championships. But either way, it would give us a very interesting Drivers' Championship if he was to drop to around the 8th position mark. What is happening here? See that my niece is having a little bit of a moment in the other room. Here we go. Showing's out. What has happened here? It looked like, yeah, we're going on a formation lap. So showing who was on the front row, on the second row, sorry, being kicked out, which is not great news. I think that's an internet issue because we've not had anything saying otherwise. And that means third on the grid is currently out of commission, which would be a free position for Hallinan, which is not what Nova wants. An incident in turn 1, however, would be incredible, right, for Nova. Nova realistically needs everything to go his way today. The real question is he going to get it? And showing joined, you'll be able to pick his car back up after the formation lap. Won't be able to do it before then. Until then, let's have a look at what tyres people have chose. So there's no one that goes on the softs. So, unsurprising. More people following the idea that there's going to be a safety car rather than there isn't going to be a safety car. If there's a safety car early, those hards might be able to do a decent chunk of time. 26 laps, you could probably get 20 out of those hards if you're lucky. Early safety car, and it'll be interesting to see what strategy people play into. We watch people go down towards the Vale chicane now on the formation lap before we get going properly. See Showing's AI just continue on. Roller on the hards, Wicked on the hards, Matt on the hards. It's very interesting. Nova's still burning out his tyres here to get himself lined up, and he's done a very, very bad job at that grid spot, but still not disqualified himself anyway. It's going to be him versus Zab on the way down to turn 1. And Showing's not going to be a factor because he's going to be an AI for turn 1. And same with, well, not the same for Chris, but Chris might be able to throw himself into the fighting battle for the lead. As we go, we're about to go, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights, and it's lights out, and away we go. Who's got the better start out of Zab and Nova? It looks like Nova, but Zab is climbing his way back into this now as we go into turn 1, and Zab has got the lead. Nova's gone wide. Nova's gone wide. Chris has got the position there. We've got a little bit of battles going all over the place. So he's dropped a couple of positions. Roller's jumped a couple as well. Slimmy down to 10th. Hallinan trying to fight his way past Sean, but he's regained control of his car and stopped him. And Nova already a second down on Zab, who's flying. And someone's gone! Someone's gone back there! Dudu! Dudu has actually spun at the end of Sector 1 there. Hallinan versus Showing is going on here. Showing still hasn't got control of his car. Or if he has, he's lagging all over my screen, and this is not very good news at all. Slimmy and Bang Average Seb are fighting out. Hallinan has finally got past Showing a little bit, and there's a little bit of a touch between the two of them there. Showing has actually got full control of his car again, is actually driving. Yellow flag in Sector 2 is a Ferrari in Saeed, and there goes the chance of a Ferrari Constructors in the, well, least Ferrari way possible, considering there's not a strategy fuck up. Chris is also a second down on Nova already. Yellow flag in Sector 1, 2, I'm not entirely sure how that's happened. I think the game's still struggling to catch up, to be honest. Not fighting all the way down the grid. Nova needs to get his way back towards Zab, otherwise the entire point of this race is, well, redundant. Hallinan will have won the title regardless, whether he did or didn't drive. See a couple of people battling as we go through. Oh, that's a touch! I think that's a touch. Showing, and yeah, I think Marlon just lost a bit of his car. Marlon had lost a bit of his car. Showing's internet is quite frankly all over the place. And here comes Roller, who gains a position up to 6th. It looks like the other horse just lost a position of Will as well. Will doing enough against Slimmy, and now had to go against Slimmy and Marlin. They go too. They're going to go 3 wide here. And it looks like the Red Bull is going to win it. The Red Bull has done a pretty good job of threading the needle there. Absolutely needed to do it, and now Marlin needs to get out the way of his teammate, and that's one way of doing it, going straight into the gravel off of Cots there. Dub's going to get past him as well. Slimmy, bang average Seb on the back of Will, who's only on the back of Roller. Needs to get a move on to catch Sean in front. Sean's out! Sean's out! The Alfa Romeo is gone. He's retired, so that's one less person to deal with here. Hallinan up to 4th, Roller up to 5th, and now, quite frankly, Roller needs to get a move on. No tier 1, nope. Well, there is a tier 1 stream, but it isn't me because they wanted me to do a title fight here in tier 4 instead, Darren. And we've got a few people here actually finding out. Marlin's going to go on for the hard tyres, I'm assuming. Either that or soft some bank for a safety car, whichever one he might go for here. Not sure what the plan would be. Matt gets overtaken by Doodoo there in the first sector. Will closing in on Roller. He is closing in on Roller, but Roller holding his own right now. Roller needs to win the race with the fastest lap, or he's out of the running entirely. Wait and see. As we go along right now, there's someone having a real bad time cops there behind Will. Slimmy almost definitely getting a warning for that and dragged him right back to the clutches of Bang Average Seb. I basically only have knowledge of driving from the actual Nations Cup we did at the beginning of the season. Will going after Roller here. Gonna go down the inside of Roller. Bear in mind, Roller's a supposed championship title fight here. He needs to get a move on. He's slow in comparison to Hallinan. He needs to get himself right up there. There's the fastest lap for Nova. So that might potentially throw things into balance later on. Currently how do I now? I assume it's going to get quite substantially lower as we go along. Might end up in the hands of Roller by the end of this. Bear in mind that if Roller gets fastest lap, Nova needs to win, Hallinan needs to end 8th. Anything higher than an 8th for Hallinan, who is currently in 4th, would be a title win. Here comes Will down the inside of Roller, and he's gonna make it stick as well. And Will takes 5th off of Roller, and Roller needs these positions. He can't afford to lose them, especially without putting up a fight like that. Chris right now well off the back of Nova, so now Nova has his shot here. Nova has the chance. It is him versus Zab for the win of this race. And he needs to win that battle. Will gets 3 seconds. That's not good news for people like Nova, who needs Will to be one of those guys in front of Hallinan by the end of the day. Johnny gets 3 seconds as well, which might hinder the title charge constructors-wise from Williams. Roller having to defend from Slimmy here a little bit. Oh, Slimmy's out! Wait, no, Slimmy's not out somehow. That was he just bashed that against the wall. He should be out. That was a tank. The tank and hit straight to the barrier there on the end of Stowe, and I don't think that's good news at all for Slimmy. So that's A little bit of breathing space here for Roller, who needs to focus on getting Will now. Currently 2.8 seconds, 2.7 seconds off the back of Hallinan. And maybe if Will's quick enough, Roller could be dragged straight to Hallinan. Chris, however, well off the back of Nova, and right now he's holding Hallinan up as well. Nova is loving that happening. Albeit, the longer he can see Hallinan on his board, the less chance he has of winning. Well, on lap 5, Nova really realistically needs a Hallinan DNF, and, well, quite frankly, Waller needs the Hallinan spin at the very least. It looks like Roller's been overtaken here by... Oh, Roller's in the wall! Waller's in the wall! Oh, Roller has... That's not good news for Aston Martin. There goes their title fight in terms of constructors, and that might be the nail in the coffin of Roller's title hopes. I don't think they're the way back from here. We'll continue actually watching Dove versus Almighty as these two currently split by under 0.4 of a second. Roller spinning there. That's one huge ding in the tail. Slimmy picks up another penalty. The horses are not having a good day at all right now. It looks like it's going to be straight Hallinan versus Nova now. Roller knows what he has to do. He has to win this race. Nova knows what he has to do. He has to win this race. Neither of them win this race. They cannot catch Hallinan here. Either way, they both need mistakes from the Williams. And right now, they aren't getting any. Dove well off the back now of Almighty, directly in front of him. As Dove picks up another 3 seconds. Has not really been able to do an awful lot in this one, and probably going to drop behind the McLaren at this rate as well, and maybe even the Ferrari in 10th. As for constructors, right now Williams have a 4th, but that's all they have. Yellow flag in sector 2, and that's a Red Bull. That's a Red Bull. That's Dudu, who spun again. And the constructors' fight has just fallen by the wayside here for Red Bull as well. It was 11.5 before the day. Will isn't beating Hallinan. Dudu is beating Matt. Well, Dudu isn't beating Johnny either. It's Johnny the thing, not Matt. Matt's with Zab. Those two, whilst technically can still win it, Matt's going to have to pull off one hell of a blinder to beat Nova at this point. It's going to be incredibly unlikely now that Aston Martin, Alpine, Ferrari end up winning this, and it's unlikely Red Bull do as well. So that leaves just the McLaren versus the Williams, I think, right now. And Roller has taken the position off of Zemu here. And Zemu's having a bit of a problem here. Zab picks up 3 seconds. Oh, and that's huge. That is huge. We go back to watching Will versus Bang Average Seb. And now Nova is currently in the lead of this race. So we have one of the conditions currently filled for the title swinging out of the hands of Hallinan. However, the other one has just been hampered because Hallinan versus Chris is going through Vale Chicane now. Chris has the inside line, now Hallinan has the inside line, and Hallinan has the position on the AlphaTauri there, and Wicked's going to pick up 3 seconds, which limits the damage there for Aston Martin. Yellow flag in sector 3. It's happening directly behind us. It's actually Bang Average Seb, who's had a bit of a problem out of the Vale Chicane there, maybe a little bit too much throttle, I think. He spins his way back down the grid, all the way down to 10th, and worked his way up. And at the end of the day, hands a little bit of hope to Roller, I think, who might be beginning to think it's game over. It would be an acceptable response. Right now, the Constructors' title, however, still goes to Williams. They've got a ninth and a third. As Nova's only able to pick up 10 right now and needs 16 and well, he needs 17 on the two of them. He picked up 10 on Hallinan and it's 8 overall, so he needs another 9-ish points to win the Constructors here, so he needs a mistake from, well, at the very least, Hallinan. Hallinan running out of DRS already. You can tell by the flashing light on the back of that Williams. Yep, down to 11% already. 5 seconds off of Nova and Zab, which Nova doesn't have to push anymore. Nova doesn't have to do anything anymore. He just needs to hold within 3 seconds of Zab. That's the only thing he needs to do for the rest of this race, because that's the only thing he can do now. The rest of this race is hinged on the one guy we're watching. The one guy we're watching. He currently had the title, one hand on the title, 1 foot in the door. And he's still waiting on whether or not he's going to throw that away. Dove has just come into the pits. There's one of the Aston Martins onto the hard tyre now for the rest of the race. Safety car could still shuffle a number of things though. Roller currently in 10th. He needs a lot to go right from here. And that's probably going to start with a safety car in about 10-ish laps time. So he could go on the medium. Oh, there goes 3 seconds for Hallinan, who just got Cobb's corner all wrong. Oh, okay, so that's 1 position conceded by the Williams. Provided that Chris is able to hold on. It would be 1 position dropped. That would be 3 more points dropped. So it would be 11 in the favour of the McLaren. They're not playing, well, they're playing with fight here, the Williams, I think. And albeit the Williams also in 8th right now, still has a penalty, one penalty at the very least, will drop him down at least 1 position. As Johnny gets past Wicked, and those two are going left and right through through Stowe right now. Actually, Johnny's gone. Oh, I'm not sure if there's contact there or something, but Johnny's gone a bit off course here. Is he going to go fighting with Roller immediately? Had the inside line, but clips the curb, and he's lost another 2 positions. Roller's got him, Saeed got him, and here comes the other McLaren, and here comes a title fight in terms of the Constructors as Zimu goes by, and there's a touch! There's a touch between the two of them, but it doesn't bring an awful lot. Doesn't look like any damage. Johnny loses positions and out of the points right now as well. And all of a sudden, the Constructors is looking a lot more interesting than the actual drivers is. I have a funny feeling that the drivers is going to be settled on track and the Constructors, however, settled in the stewards. We'll have to wait and see. It was Wicked, the accident that happened between Wicked and Johnny. Don't know if Johnny just spun or whether there was an incident there, but yes, we'll wait and see. Johnny also has a penalty, so he's got a long way back from here. And in comes Nova. Nova has pit. Saeed gets 3 seconds, but it doesn't matter. He's not going to drop the position to Johnny, so he will drop the position to the McLaren, however. Still behind Dove, so I don't think either will get points up to this point. But Nova onto the hards now. We'll see where he comes out, whether or not he's in traffic or not. There goes Wicked past. He might be coming out directly into this traffic. If anything, he's hoping he comes out a few seconds behind this traffic. That way he has a lot of ground to play with. He doesn't. He doesn't come out far enough behind, and he might get held up here. This is going to this turns into a DRS fest, so there's a little change going on here. Nova right now a little bit far back to actually be caught up in all of this, but he's going to be right behind Almighty soon enough. And Almighty, who had a little bit of a problem there in the first sector. He's going to get himself pretty much straight back into DRS range, I think, on Johnny and co here. Wait until the everyone's done their pit stops to give you a second update, and there goes Almighty going extremely wide at Cops, and I don't think that's how you're meant to do that one. I think he gets a warning for that. Nova right now has the ability to go whenever he wants. Hallinan has pit. We'll watch the battle between these cars in the midfield right now. Hallinan has pit, Will has pit, Zab has pit. Nova went one before, so I think it was at the very least Zab attempting to block an undercut. And they're going to do the rest of the race on hard tyres. And now, well, if you're Roller, safety car would be perfect. Safety car would be absolutely perfect. He would gain so much by the safety car right now. And Zab is going to get out in front of Nova. He's not going to be out that far in front of Nova. Nova quite considerably out in front of Hallinan. So, we're back as we were. Oh, Nova within a second of Zab. Zab needs to break 3 seconds to stop Nova winning the race, and quite possibly the title to go alongside it. Hallinan right now can't gain another position for the rest of the race, as he's currently where Nova needs him to be. However, the 5 in front of Zab still have to pit. I think there's only one that has a realistic chance of jumping, Hallinan as well. Roller needs a safety car. He needs one very quickly. Might be able to bring him out in front of Hallinan if he did. As we see Chris pit now. So, will Chris jump Hallinan? I doubt it, but Nova's hoping for it. We see Zemu trying to go after Saeed right now, and maybe hoping he can jump in the pits. He could have gone alongside there. We wouldn't have punished him for it. Chris has gone into pit now, so it's Roller, Wicked. They both go on by. Zab right now going on through. Same with Nova, and those two not really facing a challenge by the AlphaTauri. Zab needs to hang on against Nova right now, as Nova, well, Zab needs to break a gap. Yellow flag is sector 1. Yellow flag in sector 1 as something has happened here. Not entirely sure what it was. Chris has not jumped Hallinan in the process. Will right on the back as well. Hallinan has a penalty though. Chris is having a huge amount of problems here, I think, trying to get his car to actually function. He goes side to side here, trying to warm it up, and in turns, he had actually had that 3 seconds broken by Hallinan. So Hallinan has third on the grid right now. And will he be able to hold that till the end of the, well, till the end, basically. We've got 13 more laps of Silverstone to go. Right now, no real fight put up for the title. Nova's done everything he can, however, no one's pressurizing Hallinan at all. So, unless you get a safety car or a mistake or something of that nature, you're out of luck. As for people actually still having to do things like, well, a safety car could still change everything. Everyone gets bunched back up. Nova picks up the fastest lap. So, whilst that doesn't actually help him at all, it still doesn't change the scenario. It doesn't change the fact that Hallinan has to end below 8-4 below just to stand a chance. Johnny picks up another 3, which is possibly huge when we come to the whole conversation about Constructors' Championship later on. Nova, I find Nova, I'm just content in hanging right behind Zap right now. I'm 8 seconds ahead of Hallinan. I have absolutely nothing to worth risking. The only thing that would be worth risking is if you get in front just in case there's a safety car. That'd be the only thing worth risking. And then that would even then that would be completely banking on a safety car coming out, which is a very, very high risk to take, and quite frankly, it might be one that Nova has to pull eventually. Also, Roller going after Wicked. That's something that realistically, well, Roller needs a safety car. If Roller's going to put up a fight in this race, possibly win this race, there has to be a safety car. It looks like Nova is just content hanging off right now. We've got Johnny fighting with Matt. We've got a bunch of people at the back fighting, and an awful lot that might, well, not an awful lot to actually change how the constructors are looking. Right now, Hallinan getting beat by 10 to Nova. And 10, quite frankly, isn't enough. He needs 17. Matt just had a little bit of an issue there against Zemu, sorry, and Almighty a position apiece. I think again Johnny won as well. Johnny got a penalty, drop him behind the McLaren, and I think Slimmy's got a penalty that won't actually matter. Dove's got 6 seconds as well. It will only matter for a couple of people up until probably Slimmy. And Roller does attempt to get past Wicked, who backs out. I think that was to go into the pits. That was an interesting cycle of what happened there, because I think Wicked pulled up to try and get along. Well, he got alongside, got back in front and tried to come across to pit, but realized if he did that, he could have potentially wiped out the Aston Martin. If he did that, then there might have been a lot of problems with that. Hallinan goes past Wicked. Roller has to drag this for as long as he physically can. He needs a safety car. Roller needs a safety car. Got 10 laps left. Oh, that's 3 seconds for Nova. Oh, that's an awful corner. That was an awful corner, taken extremely poorly. And now it's game on. Nova has to go for it. He had been content just sitting behind Zab and praying for a Hallinan mistake. But he still has to pray for a Hallinan mistake, but now he has to go for this. The dynamic has changed. Nova cannot sit back any longer. He's got 10 laps. He's given himself enough time to go for this. But he has to absolutely blitz this one now. He has got no choice. He's got to go after Zab with literally everything he's got. He has to know that he isn't the reason why he didn't win the title here. He has to win this race. If Hallinan doesn't, if the bargain on Hallinan then don't hold up, then he can say that he's done everything he possibly could. But if he loses this to his own unfortunate penalty issue, then he might look back and kick himself in the end. See where Roller comes out. I'm assuming it'll be directly behind Will here. The yellow flag in sector 3 is a McLaren. Zemu's gone round. Zemu and someone else has gone round. Zemu and Johnny have gone round. We're actually going to have a look at what's happened here. So he's gone past. Roller's come out behind his teammate, which I can only assume is an instant let through. His teammate should be just one that lets him go straight by. Knowing that they've got a battle now. Roller has to get past Dub. Marlin went a bit too deep there, and suffers the consequences, loses the place to Roller, loses it to Wicked as well. We continue to watch Nova versus Zab as Hallinan drops to 10.5 seconds back. Hallinan is out of the lead of this race. He hasn't got a prayer. Not without a safety car anyway. A safety car would still switch things up. Zab's having a little bit of an internet issue. He lags in and out of being 9/10 a second up. And he currently sets the fastest lap of the race, which again, only becomes relevant if if Roller ends up winning this race. And then Roller has to have the fastest lap as well. Wicked picks up another 3 seconds, same place he did last time. Roller goes past Dove and now has his sights set on Will and those above him Will. He has to realistically jump Hallinan and Prix. He's got about 8 laps to do that. Nova wouldn't mind Roller jumping Hallinan, wouldn't mind someone else jumping Hallinan right now, and there goes Zab's internet! There goes Zab's internet! And, well, quite frankly, that's how you get it handed to you, I guess. Handed to him on a plate. Almighty has span it. And Nova takes the lead of the race. Not through any sort of skill or anything, but just because Zab's internet relented. And that's going to hand Nova potentially the win here. But there you go. So Nova versus Zab is over now. That Hallinan might still get Zab because of the AI. And that would be the worst case scenario. Now, of course, Nova got what he wanted. He got himself in front, so he's winning this race as it stands. Slimmy against Marlin. Marlin into the pits. Picking up 5 seconds along the way. Roller's closing it down. Almighty is out. Almighty is out. The real question is that safety car worthy? How bad is that? It doesn't look like we're bringing anything out. Yeah, it doesn't look like we're bringing anything out. Nope, it's been cleared. So, no safety car for that, and we're running out of laps. We are very much running out of laps here for Nova. The title very much hanging in the balance. One mistake is enough for Hallinan to not win the title here. A safety car will throw things very much wide open. Dove picks up another 3 seconds. We might still have a change or two left in the constructors as well. Williams right now 11.5 up on the Red Bull, who right now is not picking up anything today. Hallinan picks up the fastest lap. Oh, well that changes things. Fastest lap for Hallinan, which means he would be on what? If he was to end 8th, he'd pick up 5. 25 to 20 is not enough. It looks like Chris has just had a bit of a nightmare. Chris has had a bit of a nightmare. So solidifies Hallinan's place even more, that does. Might give Roller a chance at this. Especially might give Roller a chance at a top 4 anyway. So now we know that 8th with 5 points, because it's 20.5, isn't enough. It has to be 9th or lower with a fastest lap in the direction of Hallinan. Realistically, Nova's probably got a Hallinan spin. He has to be. There's no other way he wins the title here, and I think I think this race is about to go to form in terms of where the titles are going anyway. Hallinan, 20-point gap that seemed very insurmountable at the beginning of the day without any sort of mistake from Hallinan. He's not provided any sort of mistake. So that 20-point gap is extremely insurmountable. And the 11-point gap, whilst not completely insurmountable when you go 2v1 or 2v2 with, albeit Johnny and Not really done an awful lot, especially after these couple of incidents. It just didn't look likely. It still looks possible. Nova winning the race as it stands. Currently a 10-point gap splits the two of them, which means their 17-point gap that they need is all down to whether or not Zemu can get himself essentially above Waller. And, well, it's looking more and more unlikely as we go along. Zab has rejoined, so he might be able to hold Hallinan off. But it's not done enough. It's not done a lot. His internet has come back up, and he's 7 seconds behind Nova, so Nova has won the race. Pretty sure Hallinan had the title taken off of him on the last day of last season by Reno because Hallinan didn't show up. Hallinan has showed up this time. He might be able to take this one to the end. He might be able to hold on. We still have 5 laps. Still has about 5-ish laps left. Got to get something done here. As for Roller, he's in the 3-second window for Will. So he's going to get a top 5. It's not a top 5 that he needs. Zab has completely left the session. Oh, well then. There goes your constructors fight. That is the last nail in the coffin for that fight. He needed Zemu to start picking up the pieces, but with Hallinan right on the tail of an AI Zab, there's no way he's getting... There's absolutely no way a top 5 finish is in order for Zemu from way back there. Not without a safety car anyway. There is still that lingering opportunity, and it's running out of laps. We are about 1.5 laps away from that lingering opportunity dying for good. There goes Hallinan against the AI Zab. He gets it pretty easily. So Hallinan up into second. He's not really had a lot to do today. He just needed to keep it clean and needed to keep it on the track at all costs, doesn't matter how quick he went. And he's done exactly those 2 things. And he's got himself into second place. He needed to come 9th or below with the fastest lap that he currently possesses. So he gets 3 seconds. There is a yellow flag. It is not Roller. It might, however, be the case that is Dove. It is Dove. There needs to be a proper spin. Something into the wall, causing the end of a race, is the only way Nova wins from here. And Dove's out! Dove's out! And there it is! Oh, it's only a virtual! It's only a virtual! It's only a virtual safety car, and the dream was almost there! But the game did not decide to bring out a full-blown safety car! It only brought out the virtual! And the nightmare for Hallinan almost become a reality. If that was a full-blown safety car, it would have played straight into Nova's hand. And Saeed gets a drive-through for speeding under the virtual safety car. And there it goes. The last little sense of belief, the last little hope that he could have won the title vanished because it brought out the virtual safety car and not the actual safety car. And with 24 of 26 gone, there's no hope of safety cars from this point onwards. And Nova There you go. So he's going to serve it now. And all this just falling by the wayside for Nova. I bet his eyes just lit up when he saw that. When he saw the yellows. He must have been thinking he might have had one last shot at this. It turned out he doesn't. It turns out that it's all just been a little bit of hope. A little bit too much hope. That's Johnny that spun it round as Zemu goes on up into 11th and the Constructors is over as well. And it all rested on that 1 second. Dove called out the yellow flags. The game only rewarded it with a virtual safety car. And it all just slowly folded to the ether now. It's all going to the end of the race. We're on 25 of 26. Nova able just to carry this one home. He isn't going to be able to do an awful lot from here. He had to win. He had to sit and pray. He won the race. His prayers were not answered. The game just toying with him at the end. But the fact there was toying with him at the end just adds all the more to the heartbreak. And it doesn't look like there's a lot that's going to be able to happen from here. The Constructors is over. Hallinan only dropped 7 points to Nova in the end. 6 with the fastest lap. And, well, Zemu hasn't been able to pick up the over 11. So it's, it's not happening from there. And we're gonna watch what will be the crowning ceremony for Nova for the race. Nova going through the finals lap. It's essentially a victory lap from here. 10 seconds up. He knows he's won the race. He knows he doesn't have anything else to give. He doesn't need to prove anything else either. It's just not his day. Not unless there's one last sting in the tail here. There's a yellow flag in sector 3, but it's not involved in the 2 he needs it to be in. As they're gonna go, as Nova is now going to go down towards Stowe for the final time, lap 26 of 26. Into the Vale chicane. He's got 2 more corners to the line. And Nova, pretty much unchallenged since Zab went out with an internet issue, to the line and comfortably wins at Silverstone. However, it's more the championship fights we were looking for today. And it wasn't to be. Hallinan over the line. And he doesn't come 8 for below. He ends second. And he wins the title. Stops Nova right his track. Nova did all that he could. And Hallinan wins them both. He won the drivers here by a double figure points in the end. He'd also won the constructors by pretty much the same amount. He's a dual champion in Tier 4, and quite frankly, he deserves it. He did what he needed to do today, and there was no one that was denying him at all. as we watch Saeed versus Marlin. It's a relatively trivial battle now, as Marlin is going to be able to hold that one in the end. And it's all Hallinen's day. Nova may have won. Nova may have done what he needed to do. The other half of the bargain, though, not kept afloat. Hallinan able to end second as Zab ends up out of the lobby entirely. And Nova just left his charge too late. Hallinan, you're double champion for this time round. Tier 4, Hallinan deserved it. And he's going to take them both the constructors and the drivers. No one anywhere near. And that is the end of Tier 4 for the season. We've got two more races, a three-way title battle. I'm pretty sure in Tier 2, the highlight of the weekend. But until then, peace.